Good morning, everybody. Wisconsin's 74th Assembly District Representative Chanz is our very special guest today, Friday, July 12th, 2024. For DrydenWire.com, I'm Ben Dryden, and you are watching DrydenWire Live. Our guest today is also running for re-election in the newly redrawn 74th District and is facing a primary opponent in the, I think, August 13th primary. With that said, we welcome, first time on the show, Wisconsin's 74th Assembly District Representative, Chanz. Chanz, good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Glad you could have me. Appreciate you having me on. How are you?
Pretty good. Where are you right now? Is that a home, or because that's an awfully high ceilings?
I am at my bar right now, so I got to do a little cleaning before I start my day here. So that's why I'm down here today, getting ready for the day. Another Friday.
That's going to be interesting. I can't wait to know about that. I heard that you had a bar somewhere, but and another business, man. I can't remember what that was. We get to all that. So obviously this is the first time that you're on. And it's weird because, not weird, but from our standpoint, first-time guest, so we really want to get to know you. Second, you're running for office, but you are already in office, so it's really like, are we talking to, like, you, what's going on for the last 2 years as the representative or the campaign? I'm not really sure. Plus, they're new maps, they're redrawn, so, like, you're probably going to parades in places that you've never even been.
You are correct, and I answer both sides of the, as a representative and as a candidate. So
so we have a lot to get to.
I can answer them all. Yeah,
perfect. So let's just start at the beginning for people who don't know you, because I know very little about you. Obviously, we cover or focus on Barron, Burnett, Polk, Russ, Sawyer, and Washburn counties. So currently the 74th Assembly District covers just like a sliver, a part of Sawyer. Right, and that was it. So I'm like, well, like we didn't do anything with Beth Myers, your predecessor, the Democrat that held that seat before you. So we didn't really do anything there either, because it was, come on, it's like a few people, like a couple of dozen people of our 6 counties that we cover, so we never did. But now it's changing, and now you're going to have all or mostly Burnett and Washburn counties that are going to be absorbed into kind of the 74 that obviously have got redrawn. So now it's like, I got to get to know you. And everyone kind of has to get
So I am your current representative now, yes, because I took on all of Washburn County as well as all of Sawyer, and then we took on the top 3 townships in Burnett. Yeah. This seat now actually goes from the Minnesota border all the way to the Michigan border. I have 2/3 of Douglas County, half of Bayfield, 2/3 of Ashland County, and all of Iron County. So we have the biggest seat in the House, landmass wise. And I've been putting on the miles this week. We were in Mercer on Wednesday with Eric Hovde. He had a meet and greet out there. We followed him to Ashland. I went to Glidden, did some doors after that, and we were in Sawyer County for his final meet and greet that evening. Then yesterday I spent a lot of time in Hayward, and then we were in Burnett County. We were in Webb Lake and Webster, meeting with people over there last night. So we're racking up the miles. Yeah.
Holy cow. So you're up awfully early this morning. Thank you. Hopefully you have some coffee.
Oh yeah. We got the whole pot right here. So I didn't want it out of reach. So that's how I get my mornings going.
Yeah. Well, actually he did have one more stop. Eric Hovde did. For that north part in Barron, down at Kids, because I actually went down there, not actually to see him. I just went down to see hi to Dave Armstrong and Romaine and Brian Melton, a few others that I know, and some of his members on his team. I just happened to see him there, so
gotcha.
That was really interesting. So you got to see him, Eric Hovde, go from one spot to another spot to another. Do you learn from this stuff? Do you see how he does it? Is it like the same? I wouldn't say speech, but kind of. You're saying the same things on the stump, right? Did you watch and observe how he each place that he went, was there difference, or is it no, man, that dude is by the book each one? Did you take anything away from that?
I did, and Eric he stuck to his messaging. Sure. He's a man of principle, and he came to northern Wisconsin and hit all the concerns that affect us up here. So he relayed that message the same, border security, foreign policy, and foreign security. He especially hit on, his opponent. He's running against Tammy Baldwin, and it's time for her to go. I think Eric's our best chance at beating her, but he hit on the fact that on her shortcomings and her lies, and the fact that her gaslighting is not only affecting him, but she lives in a $7 million penthouse in New York City and calls herself a Wisconsin resident. So I mean, it's frustrating that the mudslinging's so deep, but that's, this is a huge race, and Eric's doing a great job. And like I said, I got to meet him three times the other. We actually got to sat down. We had lunch together, and I got to chat with him. And he's a good old boy. He's a nice guy. His wife is. She's beautiful and she's smart, and we chatted about just the world and all the happenings and just how everything's affecting, like I said, we talked about Northern Wisconsin. He really wanted to know what was affecting us up here and how he could help. And I took him as a genuine guy who cares. And so it was really, it was a great experience. I was really glad to get to travel around with him, and we had a good time. We had a good day. So,
and I suppose that is, you said, them talking about Tammy Baldwin, or he was, and that's just kind of part of how it goes in campaigns. But really, I think we kind of see that more on the national level. I remember that race just north of you, that's the 73rd. I think that last one got kind of a little, I wouldn't say ugly, but, I'm spirited. I think that was Laura Gapsky and Angie Savick, which we typically don't actually see that very often, or very much so in rural northwest Wisconsin races, but it happens from time to time. But you're right, there are like those state issues, and there's more of the regional issues. So what are the issues over the last 2 years? So when you got in, decided to run for assembly, which I don't know if you got talked into or not, who suckered you into that job? But you ended up just going into it. You didn't know much going into it. So how did you learn? So obviously you had a campaign before that. Did you kind of do the same thing where it's like, okay, what issues you having? Because you were in Sawyer County-ish area, right? Is that where you live?
No, I'm up in Bayfield County.
Oh,
Grandview.
Bayfield. Grandview, okay, so you're there. So you look at your district and go, okay, maybe your concerns are different than my concerns, even though you're just like one county away. How did you learn about those concerns?
We hit the streets. We did 13,000 doors that first campaign. We met everybody and tried to be everywhere. I quit my full-time job to campaign because I really was passionate about doing it and owning the bar. I won't lie. When I'm behind the bar serving folks, they come and tell you what's going on. And it's really been beneficial because I know I have a good pulse of what's happening, and people aren't afraid to come in and say, hey, I know you don't want to talk shop, but I got a problem. And that's what I'm here for. And I'm open to it, and everybody knows that. So I deal with a lot of problems, or, I guess we have a lot of venting sessions over the bar at night. But that's where I learn where a lot of issues in my area. But like I said, we put on the miles. I try to be everywhere. Like I said, I had 2 meetings in Webster last night. But in Tuesday or Wednesday morning, I was in Mercer listening to. We were literally sitting at a diner table, drinking coffee, talking about what's affecting the Mercer area. So you got to be everywhere. You got to put yourself out there. I mean, you got to be open to listening to people and taking in everything that's going on, because frankly, that's the job. That's what you got to do, and you can't fix it if you don't know about it. So I try to keep myself open and allow people to come talk to me anytime. And I actually drag around a trailer with my other tent rental business with my number on it, so people can call anytime.
What's this? You have a taxi, or that's the one I heard. I knew you had something else, but I didn't know what it was. Tent rental. Tell me about that.
So I own a party rental business as well. So we do tents, tables, chairs for weddings, graduations, things like that. So actually after this, we'll be out. I got to head to Ashland and put up a tent for an event. And I got a wedding up by Washburn I got to put up for. And so it's another busy Friday here in the Northwoods.
How long have you had that business?
It's been about 3 years now. So just shy of it. This is my 3rd season. So
did you get that before? Did you start that before or after you decided to run for office?
I purchased it just before I quit my full-time job and decided to run for office. So, it must have been the spring or early winter of 22 I bought that. So, here we are. I bought a bar in the summer of 21. I bought a tent rental business in, I want to say it was March of 22, and I started running for office April of 22. So, giddy up and go. That's what we're up to. Yeah.
And was that all by design, or was like, no, just one thing happened and then the next thing happened and the next thing happened? It's just the domino effect, I guess. It's random.
It really was. Like I said, I had so I'm originally from Polk County, I should probably say. So I grew up there, and I had some land down there for sale. so I sold that. I sold my property down there. Had some money burning a hole in my pocket, and so I bought a bar. And I was still working for the city of Ashland at the time, so I did both there. And then as I had there was a couple of companies, couple tent rental businesses in the area. I was friends with all of them, and they all wanted to get out. So I seen it as an opportunity to, if I buy all these up here, we can kind of start our own. We'll have all the equipment to start our own business. So I did that in March, still while working for the city of Ashland. And then I had a couple friends. Mind you, I've always wanted to serve. I've always wanted to get involved politically. I really feel that this is how you help people, and it's a good way to help people. So that's always been in the back of my mind. But I had a couple friends approach me early, must have been January of 22, and they said, "Hey, I think you should run. I think you could beat Beth." Beth Meyer was a former representative for this area, and they just planted the seed. That's all it took. It was in the back of my mind. I thought about it all spring. I'd gone over, could we make it if I just had the bar? I didn't think so. So then I go and buy this tent rental business. I quit my full-time job in April. And I think it was 10 days later, I announced candidacy for the 74th. So, like I said, it's just kind of a domino effect.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Here we are today. Yep.
Did you know at that point that the districts were, because I can't remember when those were actually finalized. I think this was before. So you knew you were running again, but that was based on the maps that were before, not the newly redrawn. Yeah, because, wait, I'm sorry. I'm getting my years mixed up. That just happened now. Sorry. So you went and you looked at this from the previous one. Wasn't that with Roland with Bolin? Right? Didn't he run against her before? And I thought it was like stupid close, if I remember right. And they dumped a ton of money into Beth Myers, like an insane amount. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he barely had like 50 or something. And he almost won. So did you look at that like, holy cow, this is a potentially vulnerable seat?
Well, like I said, yeah, we got to looking at it, how it is, and northern Wisconsin was trending the right way. But at the end of the day, it's all in who puts in the work, and that's what it was. Sure. And then, as the dominoes continued to fall, before I announced, Beth announced she was retiring. That's right. So it left it as an open seat, which again, that just another domino that fell in my way. But at the end of the day, we weren't going to be outworked, and we weren't. We put the time in, and we ended up winning. Fairly well. I think we took the seat by 55 points. So, it was like I said, we put the work in. I had a great team around me, and we really hit the streets hard, and we were in every town and every parade, and we tried to go to every door. I had people. They were surprised I was there. I'd drive up a mile-long driveway in the backwoods of Cornucopia. No politicians ever knocked on a door up there. So they were just dumbfounded that I was there. But I said, hey, I need everybody. I need y'all. So, and that's what we did, and that's why we won.
So did you? First of all, I completely appreciate your outfit this morning. Because this is the stuff I would normally wear.
I'm well dressed. I apologize.
No, I love it. So how many people, I can't be the only one, that if I'm looking at you right now and you show up in that random dead end road and say, hey, and if you look like that, they're going, one, you don't look like you're even old enough to vote, much less run for something. And two, really, I feel like I'm getting punked here or something. You're the one. Right? Did you get any of that at any point?
Absolutely.
It wasn't just me.
There were comments yesterday. Yeah. There were comments last night at one of the meetings that I was at that said, this kid don't even look like he's old enough to vote. Geez, I've been working on this mustache for 32 years now, guys. Come on. It's coming in nice. So, but I get that all the time. And I laugh. A lot of people, well, what do you bring to the table? Well, I have a lot of life experience, and that's what I feel I'm qualified to run. I grew up in Amory, graduated there, spent 11 years working for the city down there, and I'd worked myself up to assistant director before I left in 2018 to take a job up in Ashland. Now, mind you, in Amory, we did everything. So it was street maintenance, plowing roads. It was building maintenance, sewer and water treatment. We did everything there. So park maintenance. So I got a good hand on, I became a jack of all trades. But then so I took a job for Ashland as their water and wastewater operations manager. So that, again, more life experience. Ashland had a lot of problems when I came to town, just a lot of neglect over the years, but we put a great team together up there and we solved a lot of the problems. Now they're not all fixed. I'm not going to say we fixed it all and it's all great and hunky dory, but we spearheaded a lot of initiatives up there that they're still continuing. So yeah, and I guess my short life, like I said, well, now I'm a small business owner. This is my third year owning the bar. We just had our 3rd-year anniversary in July 1st. And then again, I also have another small business I run. I've jammed a lot of life experience in my 33 years. So I feel like I bring that to the table, and that's what qualifies me to do that. And once I explain that to people, the baby face melts away a little bit and they don't get so concerned. But
well, and you have a lot of people that are in your support. A lot of people in your that support you, both kind of behind the scenes, like you can go for counsel. People that have been in these jobs before, I believe, and Adam Jarkel, for example, wrote that he's been in the job where I'm sure you were able to just kind of call just about random things and seek some counsel on maybe how to do something. I'm not talking about like bills. I just mean, the process on stuff. Because when you first got this gig and got elected, that was just a year and a half ago you started, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So
yes.
Like a year and a half. Yeah. And it's like, okay, now thankfully you have Romaine Quinn, who's the senator in that district, where it's great to rely on the people who, okay, how does this go? Like, when am I supposed to be there? Where do I get do I stay in a hotel? How does this work? Because, really, how do you know? There's no, actual rubric.
You're right. And I had a basic civics understanding. I knew how the laws worked and how that worked. But to navigate the building and everything down there and to know who to talk to about, if you have questions about problems, you can't know everything. I have a great support team around me. So Adam Jarko, I grew up with him on our local fire department down in Amory.
Oh, really?
I grew up. He was old already. Yeah. So actually Adam was one of the people that inspired me to get involved. I was down there when he was in the assembly, and that's, I won't lie. I said, if this schmuck can do it, why can't I?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Love it.
But he was one of the guys who kind of inspired, like, get involved, be active, and help your community. And that was, Adam's been a great resource. Rob Stashholt's a good friend of mine. He has a cabin just down the road from my bar, and he's been huge help in just navigating, where, what, when, everything. He's just been extremely a great resource for me to fall back on. He's a true conservative through and through. So, if I'm not seeing the perspective or if I'm missing something, he kind of shines a light on that thing. So he's a great resource to have. And then of course, Romaine has been a godsend. I hope he's not listening, because I hate how I don't want his head to get any bigger, but he has been just a great resource for me. He's been through this enough, and he's in touch because he puts the work in too.
Yeah, he does.
When we were campaigning, I was right there. I mean, he was right there with us everywhere we went, and he had 3 times as much area to cover. So, I mean, he was a motivator, and we got to put in the work. We got to win this. And not only that, but he's been a great help in my development down in the building as well, navigating bills and talking to the right people, getting the right information. So when I make a vote or when I take a vote or things like that, I'm well informed. And he's been a great resource too. So to have that support team behind me is it's a godsend. It really is. And it may.
Oh, interestingly, right before we went live, oh, there he is. Hey. I was just going to say, interestingly, I'm so glad. Right before we went live, I said, hey, by the way, it almost never happens, but in the event, all of a sudden you freeze or something weird, there's a button, hit that, and then hit this other button, and you'll pop right back on. That was fast. You did it faster than anybody else. Usually it takes about 2 minutes in the event that happens.
You prepared me. I read the manual in case of an emergency. Yep, I read that manual that you sent, and I was prepared for that.
Well, that's what we're hearing, and that is what I hear. No joke. People that I know down in Madison say you have been very active, involved, and engaged in present, which that's always helpful. In your term, not gonna lie, didn't really see that coming. I mean, it's very rare, but maybe it is that's just either you or maybe it's part of it is because of like Romaine. Because Romaine, you can honestly say the same thing. Whether you agree with his politics or disagree with his politics, that's fine. But everybody wants that kind of a person that is now seemingly becoming a Chanz Green as well, where it's, you can ask me about just about any bill that is up. I probably know a very good amount of this if I'm not already very well versed in it. That isn't usually normal. But it seems like Romaine is, and that's what I've heard about you.
Yes, so I try to be involved as much as I can, and I won't lie. Madison's a 5-hour drive, but I dedicate 3 days a week at least to it. Down there when we were in session, I didn't miss a meeting or a vote. I was down there for everything because there's a respect to this job. I don't have my suit on today, but I will. You put the suit and tie on, you dress the part because that's what the job demands, and there's a certain respect to it, and I can appreciate that. Anytime I can put a T-shirt on and a ball cap, I'm in. But and people elected me to be involved and be down there. So, it's been a sacrifice, especially like on my relationship. My girlfriend Katie, she oversees everything up here when I'm 5 hours away, so, and that's a lot to put on her, but she's been great, and she's helped everything just kind of flow, and we've gotten through the last year and a half without too many big issues, maybe a broken water heater, the little things like that, but we get through it. And she's really helped me get through that. Mentioning support team earlier, I should throw her a little nod as well. She's my rock. So
smart, very smart.
Yeah. I don't know if she's listening yet, but just in case. No,
she won't hear the good stuff, but she'll know if you don't say bring her up. Yeah,
you're right. That's right.
And I do want to get into the your running. So, and if you're looking to do anything differently, what you've kind of already done. But before that, you do have a primary opponent. I had that Scott. Now I can't think of his last name. Doesn't matter. He was on the show last week, and I believe it falls under that umbrella. A Patriot Group candidate. The week before that, in the 75th Assembly District, we had a candidate on who also, I believe, would kind of fall under that umbrella of Patriot. And both of them, which is perfectly fine, spent the majority of their time wanting to talk about ballots. I mean, it was very obvious that was a big, big passion, which, again, perfectly fine if that's what it is. We didn't really get a chance to talk about a lot else, but it seems like that was a big topic. Where are you on that topic, considering that it sounds like your opponent, that is a very important topic to that person?
Oh, definitely. Election security is a big issue, and it's been a hot topic. I heard about it all of yesterday and the day before. People are concerned, especially with the recent court ruling about drop boxes. They have it's a mistrust really in the ballot choices, and I won't lie, I don't like them either. I'm not a big fan of drop boxes. I really do like in-person voting. I try to do it as much as I can, but I do understand in mail-in ballots and things like that, because I was an employee. Back in the day, I would forget. I would
see if we can do this one faster. Hey. Oh, I just heard him sign in. Come on, Chanz. Okay, and we're back. I think. I believe. Now I don't know how long this is going to go, but we think we got it. It fixed? Question mark. I don't know, but we decided. You know what? Now that we got it working, let's try to. We got another 15 minutes left. We'll see if we make it 15 minutes, and if not, then we'll just reschedule and we'll do the show at a later time. So we were talking about ballots. We're talking about some of those types of issues. Election integrity, and you're saying that you also see a lot of that, but I believe where we left off was something along the lines of that you've had to, I think you sometimes forget to vote.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So I was just saying, I encourage people to get their mail-in ballots, because I got a lot of friends that work out of state that are on the road, a lot of construction workers, things like that. They're over in the Twin Cities working all the time. They don't have time. When they get home, it's either late or they're not around when on a Tuesday when they need to vote. So we got to get them in, because those are our people. I mean, at the end of the day, they're blue collar workers just like us, and we need to get every vote, because every vote matters. So I see the usefulness in that as well. But I agree, election integrity. I think the voter rolls need to be cleaned up. I definitely agree with that. I'm all for voter ID. And we tried to pass a lot of things like that. We had bills on the floor that passed both houses that got to the governor's desk, and he vetoed them. So that's what we're dealing with right now. We need to get a Republican governor in there if we want to actually clean up voter rolls, if we want to, clean up election and make sure that our elections are fair and just. And we need to start winning elections, but people got to show up. That's the biggest thing. We were talking last night about it. 200,000 people didn't show up in the last election that were registered, Republican. They were mild Republican. 200,000. Those are deciding factors. Especially, it would have been different for Kelly in the Supreme Court race. I think he lost by like 205, but Trump, I think, was 21 or 20,000 votes. In 2020, and Michaels, of course, I think he was 70,000 votes, somewhere in there. And these are rough numbers, but nonetheless, these are deciding factors. So we need to make sure people are getting out to vote for first thing. But at the end of the day, yes, I agree. We need to clean up some things and make sure that our elections are fair and safe. And that's like I said, we tried this session. We pushed quite a few bills. We did get the referendums through, so we banned Zuckerbucks. We also passed a referendum that all elections have to be certified by the county clerk. So, those things went through. These things are happening. I'd like to be a little more aggressive this next session. But at the end of the day, we're dealing with divided government, and it's an uphill battle every day.
Well, to be honest, I really do. I know that's probably not. Republicans would say no, and Democrats would say no-ish. I guess I don't know where they stand, but ultimately Republicans want to be in the Assembly, the Senate, and a Republican governor, because how wonderful would that be? And Democrats say the same thing. Actually, I don't like that. I'm fine. I would prefer if it was actually divided just a little bit, right? Senate could be Democrats, the House, or whatever. It's a checks and balances thing. So if everything doesn't move too quickly, I think government should work slowly. Now, maybe not always as slowly as sometimes it does, but that's where I'm probably more of that conservative rather than the progressive. I like things going slowly. Let's not go too fast. And it sounds like you're getting some things accomplished that you wanted to get accomplished. You want to do more, but it's baby steps.
Right, exactly. And like you say, and that's probably a good checks and balances, like you say, but at the end of the day, I want to push good conservative. It is, yeah. I want to push good conservative values. And it doesn't happen every day, especially with Tony Evers as governor. Hopefully this is his last term, but we'll see come 26. But that's a big issue when it comes to election integrity there. I'm on board. I think we need to do some cleanup, and there's definitely some more things that can be done. But until we have a Republican governor, here we are. So,
what do you say to maybe not even specifically to your primary opponent, but to the Patriot Group or just primary opponents in general that are talking about they're running against a current incumbent? Or current incumbent, that's redundant. But an incumbent where they say, I'm tired of our area representatives coming back with their hands in the air saying, hey, I didn't get anything done, where I can go and get something done. When you hear that stuff, what do you think?
I appreciate democracy, and I won't lie. I'm anybody who's willing to stick their neck out and run for office, kudos to them. Yeah. It's not easy. Going through it now, I applaud anybody who thinks that they can do this job, because you don't make money at this. This is not a wise investment on my part. I put $200 in gas in my truck in the last 2 days, and that's out the door. That's how it is. But at the end of the day, it's frustrating that we're burning resources fighting each other. I really, it's irritating in that regard, because at the end of the day, we probably agree on 90% of the issues. And it's just getting into the weeds on those issues where we differ. At the end of the day, we need to be, as a Republican, we need to be beating Democrats. That's the goal. And I think together, if we were focused, we'd be doing a lot better than we are. Mm-hmm. So the infighting really is frustrating, like I said, when it comes to burning up resources and cutting each other down. Although I give credit to Scott, we've kept a pretty clean race. We talked about that early on. And I talked to Scott in winter. We were at the parade together. He said, and I'll say it here, if I lose, I will vote for Scott. And Scott said the same thing about me. At the end of the day, that's how it's got to be. We got to support each other because we need to push conservative values to Madison, and we have to be Democrats. So you got to be friendly. I hate the cut down and stuff like that. And I won't lie, I've seen some shenanigans in your neck of the woods on Facebook. Stein stealing and stuff
Barron
like
County.
that.
What a dumpster fire! I love it. It is so
And from
entertaining.
afar, I won't lie, we're enjoying the show. But yeah, what a dumpster fire! I mean, what is that? I don't know how.
Poor Dave
I'm not
Armstrong.
a copy paste guy, but hey, I got to take a knock at that's bold. That is
It
bold.
is.
God, yeah.
100%. Speaking of, and I'm not trying to, you had just said weird conversation you had with Scott, but he was on last week, and he did say, he brought up a couple things kind of towards the end, so we weren't getting a lot of time to get into it, but he did bring up a couple of things that you had voted on, and he had some concerns. One of them was the 14-week abortion period. Can you explain what that was? And do you need to kind of clean that up or clarify anything at all?
I can tell people where I stand, and that's fair. That is what differs between me and Scott. So I did vote for the 14-week abortion bill. It would actually sent the bill out to sent it out to a vote, referendum vote for the people of Wisconsin to vote on whether or not they wanted a 14-week abortion or not. Current law in the state of Wisconsin is 20 weeks. I looked at it as a way that we are moving the needle closer to zero. I am a pro-life candidate, and I am for exceptions, and I've been that way my entire political career, my life. So that's where I was at. The way I looked at it is, if this got sent out to referendum, it would save some lives and move the needle a little closer to zero. We're not going to get a perfect abortion bill through divided government, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So that was my attempt there to kind of move the needle closer to zero and let the people of Wisconsin, they could have voted it down, they could have voted for it, they would have had a say in it. So that was kind of our attempt there, and unfortunately that didn't move. But yeah, that's where I stand on that, and I understand Scott's very. That's one of his driving factors, and that's fair. But that's where we're at. We were trying to give it to the people, and I thought, well, this is a way to move the needle closer to zero.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out that way, and that's where we're at with it.
The second thing was regarding wedding barns. For them they have to get licenses or alcohol licenses to serve if they have, what is it, like more than a certain amount a month or a year?
Yep. Yeah. So the alcohol package was a package that was worked on for 10 plus years. A lot of people, and I mean everybody at the table, your beer distributors, your bar owners, and the wedding barn people were invited as well. Everybody at the table, concerns about alcohol, just kind of cleaning up some, the industry's changing all the time. We have all these seltzers, so we had to do some language cleanup on malt beverages, things like that, allowing people like brew pubs and stuff like that to do sampling. Some of that stuff wasn't allowed, so we got all that cleaned up. But the biggest hit that they are hitting me on is because wedding barns they have to get a liquor license if they're going to serve alcohol at their events. Now, if they only do 6 events or less a year, they don't need a liquor license. They can still continue business as such. But if this is if this is your main income, it is now, well, and it goes into effect. It's a 2 years. So in 2 years, it'll go into effect. So that'll give businesses about 2 years to adjust their plans and things like that. But it allows for them to get a liquor license and serve alcohol on their premise. And it's by the guidelines that all bar owners and everybody else have to follow. Alcohol is something that needs to be regulated. And unfortunately, it's either deregulate all of us or we all got to follow the same rules. So that's why I voted the way I did. I voted for the package. As a business owner, I look at it, if I had a wedding barn, I'm looking at it as an opportunity to expand my business. Now because anybody who's established can get a liquor license.
Right. And now you have a liquor license.
Well, and it's not prohibited to the number of liquor licenses that are currently in the area. We made it that you will get one if you are established and ready to go. And like I said, this is a way to expand your business, offer something to your customers that you previously couldn't. And, it puts a little, you're going to need licensed bartenders. You're going to have to shut her down at 2 a.m. And that's probably a responsible way to go. So those are the concerns with the wedding barn issues and that's how I felt on it. I felt like, I understand we all got to follow the rules when it comes to alcohol. And if I'm a barn owner, I'm going to expand my business and take advantage of this opportunity. So that's what led my vote yes on the alcohol package.
Sure.
So,
now that the maps are different, you're going to be obviously you're learning. You're going to at the very beginning of I guess last show a little while ago that you're going to different parades because you have to go to different counties because this is all changed now. So how is that going? Is it frustrating a little bit or is it exciting? Because also you're losing a whole bunch of people that you knew before, and now you're going to find the news. So I just did this.
You're right. It is. It feels kind of like, we got kicked back to the bottom of the hill again, and we're going up the. But I won't lie. I have Price County in my district. I loved Price County. Great people down there. They were so supportive. They were really good. I lost that in the new maps. So I'm going to miss them guys. I hope I did them well in my first 2 years. But there is an exciting part because I come through. Going to my family cabin up in Grandview. That's what led me to Grandview here. We always had a cabin here. And I originally grew up in Amory. So I came through Shell Lake, Spooner every weekend. And we stopped. And I love that portion of Washburn County and all that. And I love the new portion of Sawyer County. We've been down there doing doors, been meeting new people. They've all been great. Everybody's been really receptive, so we're super excited to have them. And I won't lie, we're headed to the rodeo tomorrow for the parade and everything.
Oh, right.
And I'm hoping to take all that in, so I'm excited about that. And Katie's picking up a bunch of candy today. We're getting ready for the parade, so I'm excited. And I haven't been to the rodeo in a handful of years, so it'll be nice to get down there and take in the show and. Yeah, maybe have a cold beer. I hear it's supposed to be warm. Yep. So
yeah, it is.
It is. And that's what I love seeing these new things. You go to all these new areas where you never took in the parade or you never heard of their things like that. And I won't lie, I'm excited to take it all in. So it's fun. It's a new experience. Every day is a new experience, and I enjoy every bit of it.
What are you most proud of, or for what are you most proud? For which are you most proud? Which bill? Something you've got accomplished in your first, technically year and a half, your first term in office, that, and for whatever reason, whether you lose this election, but something you can hang your hat on, or even if you win, you can go, I want to build off of this. This is how we get it done. What was the one thing you're like, I'm so proud that we got this done, or I was a part of this one bill that we got accomplished?
Gotcha. I won't lie, being from rural Wisconsin, I think our shared revenue package last session was a big win for Wisconsin. Initially in negotiations, they were talking about 15%, money going back to small municipalities and things like that. We ended up getting 20 for them, and that's huge. In northern Wisconsin, we bring in about 27% of the tax revenue when it comes to tourism, things like that. And to get 20% back to northern Wisconsin when we were previously we're at 5%. I felt like that was a huge win, and I was really glad to be a part of it because I feel that bill really helped rural Wisconsin, and that's where we're from. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. All our small municipalities to get an extra $40,000 a year. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a huge boost. So I was really excited to be a part of that. And I did some other things. I took on, I dabbled my toes into taking on the DNR. And I won't lie, they might have whooped me on this first round, but I'm not done now. Oh, they got me going now. So we, at the end of the day, I question a lot of what they do. We tried to push some bills when it came to deer hunting and trying to, get them to address northern Wisconsin. We're our own environment up here, and they have a blanket effect plan for the rest of the state that doesn't apply to us, and they're not changing course. We're just currently headed to destruction. Now, maybe in southern Washburn County, I did hear from a lot of residents over there and in the southern Sawyer County where they're like, hey, we have deer. There's no problem here. Well, it's coming, and it's called wolves. They're coming south. They're going to be there. And up here, even after this mild winter, I've seen a ton of fawns. It's been great. But you know what else I've seen? A ton of bear. I have seen 15 bear over the last month, and it's like, You can't tell me them vacuum cleaners aren't sucking up little fawns as they cruise through the woods, So it's like I just feel that DNR is out of touch with northern Wisconsin, and I'm not trying to criticize, but I really want to sit down at the table and discuss what we can do to further, better our area up here, because hunting is a huge passion of mine, and I won't lie, it's been trial and tribulation here so far, but at the end of the day, I'm not giving up. They're gonna hear about me. I'm gonna be a thorn in their side all the next session. So that's the plan there.
Do you think that you're going to be able to have that sit down? And by the way, I'm just looking on our website 'cause I thought I just saw something. Oh, there it is. Yesterday, he had a press release. Senator Staffsholt calls for audit of DNR fishing. It seems like a lot of people are going after the DNR, which
they had
interesting.
they had a $15 million shortfall last session that we had to backfill from the forestry department, and now they're already set to have another $15 million. And I think it's by the end of session, it's going to be, I want to say it was upwards to $30 million. Where is that money going? What are we doing? Because I won't lie, my hunting and everything is not getting any better. We don't see any more law enforcement. I don't know where they're spending this money. And I know they're taking hits when it comes to revenue because people aren't buying licenses and things like that.
That's right.
Well, the hunting's not as good. I can spend $600, go down to Iowa and shoot a world-class buck. And up here, I spend $25. I might not see a buck, So these are the things that we're dealing with up here. And like I said, the DNR in Madison is out of touch with what's going on up here. And I'm going to pound that drum until they listen. So, and I applaud Senator Staffsholt on what he's doing because it's right. Where is the money going? We should be auditing these entities that, they just, we have to backfill you. No, where'd that money go in the first place? You're obviously spending frivolously, and we need to hold you accountable. And I applaud Senator Staffsholt for doing that because it needs to be done.
Well, as a person that doesn't hunt or fish or enjoy, nature or outside, I guess, in general.
With this humid weather, I don't enjoy it either.
My idea of like roughing it is like a Motel 6. I don't know if that's still around, but like that's roughing it for me. But even having said that, I still, I'm in Spooner in north Wisconsin, grew up here, love this area, and I'm not a moron. I see all the tourists that are coming through here, and it's just basic economics and tourism. How many consecutive years of bad hunting does it have to happen where people just stop coming? And how do you get them back? This is like basic retail. It's 3 times easier to keep a current customer than it is to get a new one. So this is already our tourists, and there are people that come up just to hunt. And all of a sudden they're not coming to hunt, whether it be bears, wolves, etc., but they're deer hunting. I think even someone said last year it didn't go super great already, and it maybe didn't before. And it's okay. How many years can we get away with before we stop seeing them and we never get them back?
Oh, you're 100% right. In just 3 years of owning the bar, I've seen our numbers go down in deer hunting significantly. The first year, it was a nice shot in the arm for our economy. It kind of gets slow come November, and up until snowmobile season, we kind of have this slow period. But deer season was that shot in the arm that we needed to get through that. This year, I had no hunters. We had a 3%, about 30% drop in our buckboard participants. And the guys who actually registered deer was down. It was less than 10%, of the people that actually signed up. So it's like, at the end of the day, they're sick of driving all the way up here. I honestly believe the only reason guys are coming up north is because of the camaraderie and the tradition of it. A lot of them still have cabins in this area, or they can't. But it's not for the hunting. They come up for opening weekend to, have a drink with the boys and go out to the old deer stand and reminisce. But at the end of the day, they're headed back south after that because there's deer down there, So that's the only thing that's keeping it alive. And it's frustrating because how do you get a youth involved when you bring them up here and all they see is, this year it was unseasonably warm, but they probably seen more bear and wolves than they did deer. And it's like, how do you get a kid to get hooked on hunting if they can't see a deer?
Just tell them stories. I remember sitting here with your grandfather, and we saw 2 big deer going. Do you think we'll see one, Dad? Nope.
Nope. That's spot on.
There you go.
And luckily, we don't have cell phone service up here, so they can't be on an iPad or a cell phone. So they got to listen to Dad's stories. But that ain't going to get them hooked.
Do you ever get some of these bills that you whether it either be the Senate or, well, let's even say Governor Evers, simply because Governor Evers, where you're working on a bill and you want to get something done, you realize, yeah, there's no way this is passing. Like, there's zero chance. But I feel like I need to try. Or do you bother trying? Do you just want to go on record to say, hey, I'm pretty sure you're going to veto it, but hey, now it's on record to say that you did it? That's the political part of it. So the political part of it aside, though, is it frustrating when you look at something, you want to get something done, and you know it's not going to go anywhere, but you're still going to do it because that's how the game is played, and it's like, well, why have we been doing it? I understand why, but man, this is frustrating.
It definitely is, and I won't lie, I was probably a little naive to it when I put out that dope hunting ban bill.
I remember
there was a part of me. Yeah, there was a part of me that was like, "This is a good bill. Like, this is gonna happen." The DNR
to be young,
no, to be naive. Yeah. There was a part. Yeah. I met with the DNR the night before testimony in the assembly, and we had a great meeting. Like, they were willing to listen to me, and it was really more or less them just feeling me out, to see what was going on. Because the next day, they didn't testify against my bill, but here was a list of reasons why they didn't like it, and I realized then I'm like. They're going to kill this thing. And I pushed back and I pushed hard and we got it through the House and we got it through the Senate. And we answered we asked a lot of questions like, how can we make it better? We're willing to work with you guys, but something needs to be done. And it was a lot of the DNR telling me, we have a plan, we're sticking to it, and we don't care about your ideas. So that was a little bit that was frustrating. But like I said, for that minute, I thought, we're going to do this. We're, and like I said, we got it through the House and Senate. We did our job, but the governor vetoed it because him and the DNR are in cahoots. That's his DNR, and they didn't want it, and he didn't pass it, and that was kind of my first tussle with the DNR. And I thought, round two is coming.
Yep, giddy up. I'm learning how to play this game a little bit. Okay, I get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. What else do you want to make sure that we talk about that we haven't had a chance to talk about?
Gotcha. I just want to, remind everybody that there's a primary vote August 13th. Make sure everybody gets out and vote. That's a big one. And, we got to get turnout out. It's there's not a lot on the ballot come the primary, but Eric Hovde, again, he's on there.
Unelected bureaucrats, Representative Gabe Magnifici says. Yes, that's. I think she's referring to the DNR on that one. Yeah,
I believe she is. Yeah. And I love her.
She's great. I love her.
I do. And but yeah, like I said, August 13th, we got to get out and vote. Eric Hovde, I think he's our best chance to beat Tammy Baldwin. He's on the ballot. Of course, I'm on the ballot as well. You got Duke Tucker over there, and they changed all the numbers now. I
75th.
think he might be. Is he the 75th now?
75th. Yeah, it's Duke Tucker. I've had all three of them on for the Republican primaries. Somebody just emailed me yesterday from the 67th. Is that one, Dave's, in that?
I believe it is, yes.
There's a Democrat running in that. They emailed us yesterday. I haven't had a chance to respond back. I believe like all the Democrats in the area, there's no primary. I mean, what I mean is there isn't multiple people in the primary, right? In our whole area, it's just Republicans, and that's the 67th. There's two. In yours, the 74th, there's two. In the 75th, there's three.
Correct.
And then there's two in the, what's the one now? Jimmy Boy's seat. It used to be 87th. What is that one now?
Oh, that's a good question. It might be the 87th still. I think it is.
Is it?
Did it change?
I think so.
That's good. You got Rob Summerfield down there and Cliff. There's a Cliff down, and I apologize. I haven't met Cliff, but I can't think of his last name. But yeah, they're running down there too. And yeah, again, I love Summerfield. He was a good guy. I endorsed him for Price County, and I endorse him here. Rob Summerfield's my guy. We worked well together. He was another guy. He's been in it a minute, and he was a guiding light down there. And Dave Armstrong. If you don't vote for Dave Armstrong, I don't know what you're thinking. That guy's the essence of up north, and he is so driven and so smart when it comes to rural development and economic issues in that area. He's an asset to northern Wisconsin that we can't let go. I do not want to see him go. Dave I'm happy to call him a friend, and I support him 100%. Dave is the man. I lean on him for rural issues because he's not only that's his day job. Like he does this. Eats, sleeps, and breathes it. So he's a great asset to have, and I want to see him back there this next session. Yeah. So but that's what's going on.
August 3rd. So real quick, so over in the 75th, do you have I don't know? I'm not saying someone that you're endorsing. I don't know how that stuff works, if you even should, or I think some people do, but whatever. The 75th, Duke Tucker, Neil Klein, and Jay Calhoun.
Yeah, no, I fully endorse Duke Tucker.
Oh, okay.
I really do.
He's an easy guy to like.
He's a great guy, and he's a good old boy. I mean, he's a working man, blue-collar guy. I mean, and that's what I like about him. He's smart. He's ran a business. He's been with the company there for, 27 years, I thought he said. I've chatted with him just enough. I've met with Neil. I've met with Jay. They're good guys. I don't question that a bit, but I just feel like Duke's got a little more experience going into it, and he's a good guy, and I really support him, and I hope he does well over there. I was in Burnett County yesterday, and him and I are the line for the 74th and the 75th there is right at the top of Burnett County, but I had to go down to, into his district a little bit, and Duke signs everywhere, and how can you not vote for a guy named Duke?
I mean,
Duke,
come on.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
No kidding. Is there any, do you know, because now we don't cover this district anymore. We did it for years when Nick Milroy was the representative, but the 73rd, because now that has been drawn, is out of our kind of area that we cover. It's just like the sliver between Ashland and Superior up there. So that was Angie Sapper. Right. So that's no longer our coverage area, so I'm not paying attention up there. I mean, it is clearly, ironically, after all these maps have been redrawn in rural northwest Wisconsin specifically to make it more competitive, pretty much all the assembly races in our coverage area are, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but they're very, very red. And then there's the one blue. So, we really won't see, as of next few years anyway, probably any super close general election races. 73rd, I guess here's where I'm going with this. Any sacrificial lamb Republicans running in the 73rd? Because there's no way you're going to win.
Yes, it's an uphill battle in the 73rd.
Is that what we refer to it now as an uphill battle? It's
uphill
a
battle.
Whatever.
Dramatic.
It's an unwinnable seat.
Nothing's impossible.
No,
yeah?
you could. The Democrats could have train a monkey or an animal, or have AI run. As long as you're a Democrat, there's a D next to your name, you're winning in the 73rd. So is there a Republican?
That's fair. That's a fair statement. Yeah. But there is a guy, Frank Costa, out of Ashland. Yeah. He's my guy. I love Frank. He's good. He's a retired vet. He was 20 years retired vet. He owns a pawn shop up in Ashland. True conservative. Frank is amazing. Him and his wife are just great conservatives, and they're putting in work. I love Frank. He was over at Mercer with us with Hubdy on Wednesday, headed down to Appleton to get signs. Yep, he was going to go get a sign. So this isn't just I'm going to put my name on it, take one for the team. Republicans hey, man, I'm going to work, and you never know. Yeah,
that's how upsets happen.
And I won't lie. If anybody can do it, I'm betting on Frank, because at the end of the day, he's got lit. He's ready to do doors. Him and the wife got all the. We walked. I kind of give him a tutorial on how to do all that stuff, and he's ready to put in the work. So it'll be interesting, because at the end of the day, Frank's just he's slow and steady, making his way towards the finish line, and I'm cheering him on from afar. And again, it's an uphill battle, but we got to put up a fight. Yeah, we just can't lay down and take it.
How many Democrats are running in that race? I believe Laura Gapsky is running again. I don't know for sure, but I thought she was, but maybe I was mistold. But again, I haven't even looked because I haven't followed it.
Gotcha. Her name came up early on, but I haven't seen it as of recent. The Democrats running are there's an Angela from Northland College. She was. I can't remember her last name, but then, of course, John Adams, the gentleman I beat in my last race, is running. They're both announced that I know of. I don't know if Laura announced or not, to be honest with you. Yeah, I haven't been following them, but I know those two are running at least. So there
is a primary in that one, because I would think so. Kind of like in the Republican one here, it's like 74th seems to be, there's like percentages that people can kind of, isn't this like what is the new 74th map kind of? Where does it kind of fall in that red category? Like 55%, 57%?
We're right around 60%.
Almost 60%. And that is right. It doesn't mean a Democrat couldn't win that seat, but it seems a little more unlikely. It's an uphill battle. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been so much fun talking to you. And, now I think about it, we should probably just start having you on, not talk campaign stuff, but just, because I have Romaine on once a month and Tom Tiffany on. But you actually cover, the 74th covers a decent amount of our coverage area now in Sawyer, Burnett. That's almost half of it. We should probably start getting like a scheduled thing every couple months, have you come on and give us some updates on the stuff that are going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we should probably start doing that, and not just for you. I mean, whoever wins that seat,
Right.
come November, we should probably have them on seeing. Yeah. All right. Cool.
We're your representative now. So yeah. Yep.
Oh boy. Ooh,
I got
good.
big shoes to fill with Dave, but I'll try my best. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on again.
Absolutely.
Special thank you to our guest today, Wisconsin 74th Assembly District Representative Chanz Green, for taking the time to come on for a chat. I'll see you all back here on Tuesday when I'll be joined by Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald for our weekly Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy show. So until then, for DrydenWire.com, I'm Ben Dryden saying thank you for watching and have a blessed day.